Gotcha. Good evening. Welcome to Cartersville City Council. Please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Bow your head and let us pray. Lord, thank you for all the blessings that you've blessed our community with, and obviously seeing all these young kids in here today, our future looks very, very bright. Please be with this council and all the other leaders in this room as we continue to make this community great, continue to grow and strengthen. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please over the roll, please.
Harry Hahn, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
Make it great.
He's here.
Gary Roth, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Taft Rand, Ward 6.
Thank you, Meredith. First order of business tonight is the approval of our council meeting minutes from December 20th. And council, you all have had these well in advance and had an opportunity to review them. Now would be the chance to make any edits to those minutes. And if there are no edits, a motion would be in order.
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have got a lot of people here to see council do what they do tonight. I don't know what y'all are doing here. But, here's the first thing on here is recognition of 12 and under All-Stars as GRPA state football champs. How about that? Britt, why don't you get us started off with this, please?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we would just like to recognize the efforts of the 12 and under Class A state football champions. This started a year ago, and these guys, they have worked 4 and 5 days a week, sometimes 2.5 hours a day to put together this season. And I'd just like to take a minute to recognize Coach Adam Williams, Coach Lee Miles, Coach Sid Rouser, Brett Williams, and Kendall McAfee for their continued efforts. It's a volunteer position, and it's a thankless job. And I would just like to recognize those coaches. Also would like to recognize the parents as, they've spent many hours watching, but they've believed in us, kept coming back, and at times we had a hard time finding teams to play, but in the end it worked out. I'll let Adam tell you more about the season, tell you more about his coaches. The mayor's got a proclamation for us, and then if you guys could come up, if coaches and players could come up, he's got one for each of you players. But again, thank you parents, thank you coaches, and most of all, thank you players for your hard work and bringing home the state championship.
Thanks, Britt. Coach, why don't you go ahead and talk, and then what we'll do from there is I'll read the proclamation, and then after that we'll move that podium down and we'll pile in and get a group photo. How about that?
All right. So, you want a roundabout of how the season went? We started off early. We picked up right where we left off last year. We left off with a state championship, knowing that we had opportunity to bring another one back to town. And we started early. We practiced throughout the summer. Had 2 a day, or not 2 a days, but 2 a weeks, just a basic camp for the youth. Invited anybody from 8 all the way up to 12 and under to come participate with us, and definitely benefited from it. Put together basically our team from last year, brought some new guys in, and then put all 3 of the teams from the city together at the end of the season for the All-Star team, and just had chemistry that was second to none in the state. I mean, we played one heck of a football team in Savannah for the second year in a row. They came excited to play us and ready to play us, and they wanted revenge, and it was evident every single second of the game. But we prevailed. It was all the hard work and everything that we put in throughout the season. And like Britt touched on, it's not just the players, it's the parents. The parents have to endure a lot with us. We're in depth to be a rec football league or a rec football team, but the results show what you put in, you get out. And we're proud of these guys for working hard, and the parents for sticking behind us. Happy to be a part of the rec department and a part of the Cartersville program, and just glad to be. This is an early stepping stone into the program, and I think setting the standard early is what keeps Cartersville on top. And we're a part of it. Happy to be here.
Thank you, appreciate that, and thank you, I'll echo those sentiments, thank you to all the coaches and parents for all the time and sacrifice that you make in putting these guys on the field, and who knows, maybe with y'all's help, we can turn that Cartersville football program around at the high school. I do have a proclamation here I'd like to read. It says, whereas the Cartersville 12 and under All-Star football team went undefeated in their season, and they traveled to Calhoun to play the GRPA 5th District Tournament and won 36-0 over Calhoun. Oh my goodness. They played Carrollton in the North Georgia Championship at Dellinger Park, and they won that one 28-12. And whereas they traveled to Walton County, where they scored 48 points to shut out West Walton in the semifinal game. They played in the South Georgia GRPA champions and the Savannah Hurricanes. Showed them who the real Hurricanes were, defeated them 12-6 to become the 2018 GRPA Class A state football champions. Whereas their wins included 2 championships, which awarded them the titles of 2018 Class A 5th District champions and 2018 Class A state champions from the Georgia Parks and Recreation Association. Whereas the head coach Adam Williams and the assistants Lee Miles, Sid Rouser, Brett Williams, and Kendall McAfee are all to be commended for giving unselfishly of their time and effort in the development of these young, talented players. Now, therefore, I, Matthew J. Santini, Mayor of the City of Cartersville, along with the City Council, use this means to encourage all residents to acknowledge the outstanding 2018 season of the Cartersville 12 and under All-Star football team. You'll notice when you get this proclamation, it had everybody's name on here, but I didn't read them ahead of time, and I wasn't going to read anybody's name wrong. So if I can get y'all to pile on down here, we're going to take a group photo, and I'll present this to y'all. I've got one copy for each of you, too.
Hey, Luke.
Yes, sir. This Bobby. Bobby. 76. I know.
In the back.
I don't know if you're tall enough, man.
Good job, guys.
Mr. Miles. Huddle up. Huddle up.
See why you hide?
Don't do that. You get worse. She moved one time all over here and got in the picture.
No, I just want you to get
Smile, Lee. Well, maybe that. That was the other one.
On the record to reflect, these are the people that are cheering against Trevor Lawrence.
Lee.
thank you.
Yeah, well, you know, we're all over the place, but Aaron's mom's no good, and her grandfather's no good. They live in Monroe, so we have to go there Christmas Day. We try to piece together my mom's family. It's a big, big family. And my dad's my uncle's out of town, my grandmother's ill, so we just take her a present, and just, so our Christmas is
Puppet show.
in a home. Once he passes, we have to do that Christmas Day drive all the way to Monroe. Every year we do. So we spend Christmas Day in the car. Her sister lives in Kentucky, and they do every other. So next year, her sister will,
Envisioning your podium.
at some point, so it'll either be a couple days before or a couple days after. We've celebrated, on my time hop, it pops up like
That's all right.
on the 28th and 29th of December.
I can either make a fool of myself down there or some other place.
That's a long holiday.
Well, my kids don't know any different. You know, my kid, every other kid, you know, they get all their Christmas presents, they stay at home all day. And, you know, you maybe go to a friend's house and have some snacks and everybody, the adults sit around. We get up, our kids this year got up
Well.
8 o'clock. And then for 2 hours we opened presents and stuff. And then we got the cards out. And we got home at 9:15. That's Christmas. But Aaron wants to see her.
All right, where's Randy Menino?
Blended in, walking out with
And her granddad.
Actually, let me do this. Hey, council.
We got a pond.
I need a motion. I got 2 items to add to the agenda. Can I?
I make a motion to add those 2 items to the agenda right now.
All right, I've got 2 items added to the agenda. Thank you.
I'll second
And actually, Mr. Archer, why don't you do yours? We'll just roll through this. Then we're going to do the second. Yeah.
2 weeks ago, y'all denied a claim that was made against the city by a Mr. Byfield. Ricardo Carlos Byfield. He has refiled pretty much the identical claim that you denied 2 weeks ago. This new claim, if you want to call it that, attaches some documents that he got through the open records request from the city and the police department and from the clerk's office. So we prepared a resolution for you to consider whether to approve or to deny his claim. And you have that before you.
And obviously, you would say that we deny that claim.
I would recommend it.
Thank you. All right. Chair will entertain a motion if there's no discussion.
Motion to deny the claim.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
That claim is denied. We will pause momentarily before we take on this other item. That's all right. And our next item on the agenda that we have so efficiently added while everybody was filing out of here. And speaking of efficiency, we've got some awards for quality and efficiency. So, Mr. Jones, if you'll step forward and kick us off with this item, please. This nice recognition for some of our folks.
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. With us tonight is Pam Burnett with the Georgia Association of Water Professionals, better known as GAWP. GAWP represents about 4,000 individual members, over 300 corporate and utility members, and they are widely regarded as the foremost authority on all things water in the state of Georgia. Primarily, they work in education, outreach, and regulatory advisement, I guess you would put it, toward our legislators on water matters. And they also operate the Georgia Wastewater Institute. And we had 5 graduates from the Institute, I believe in November of last year, all of which went on to pass their state certification exams. So GAWP does a lot for the city of Cartersville, and they do a lot for the water industry. Pam has actually been in the water industry for about 35 years, is that right? Herself. And she does a lot for us individually as well, and I will turn the program over to her to present the awards. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's so nice to be here tonight. Thank you for having me. When I think about Cartersville, and I can tell you for my 35 plus years, Cartersville has always been recognized as a place that truly appreciates your water professionals, and the facilities are always known as being very well run, very well designed, operated efficiently, but truly it's the water professionals that really stand out in Cartersville. It's great to have a community that appreciates the importance of your water system and values it in your wastewater system. So I try to tell other communities that don't have that same ethic how important it is, because when one thing goes wrong, it affects the entire community, public health, and then the economy right after that. So it's really nice to be here and speak to you tonight. So the 2 awards I'm going to tell you about, we do have a very robust awards program at GAWP, and the reason we have this program is because many, many years ago, the water systems in Georgia and wastewater systems in Georgia had no, they were just running on their own. And as we became more and more proficient, better with our facilities, more technologically savvy, better operations, we wanted to recognize those that stood above everybody else, because that's where the other systems come to learn. They want to learn from those who do it better than they do. Cartersville's exactly that place. So the awards really come from, they're very competitive. The 2 awards I'm going to talk to you tonight about are the Wastewater Plant of the Year Award. That's the first award. That one is, you're compared against all the other facilities in Georgia that are your size, and then there's a rigorous evaluation, 4 to 6 hours of inspectors coming into the facility, turning over every rock, looking at every documentation, all of your records, and the facilities, and talking to the operators from every aspect, safety, regulatory, everything. So you can imagine when you have a group of people who are operators in their own facilities coming in to look at yours, they're pretty eagle-eyed, and they're pretty critical, but they also are learning from you. So it's a real opportunity for the inspectors to come in and see how you do things. But then they're all scored on a scale of 0 to 100, and you have to hit a score of 90 to even be considered for an award. And then you're further competing with those that are in that category. And at the end of the competition, sometimes it's only 0.1 to 0.05 of a point that separates you. So the James Stafford Wastewater Treatment Plant won Plant of the Year this year in 2018. So that is a great accomplishment. And I want to, there was a plaque presented at our spring conference in 2018, and I would like to recognize whoever wants to come up. Maybe all of you should come up, but at least Bart should come up, yeah. So Bart, this is truly a statement of the quality of your staff, of your leadership, and all that you do every single day. Really appreciate it, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. And as you were talking about the quality assurance, quality control program at the lab, that's another very important aspect of your system. And I will say this, the people in the lab often get a little overlooked, wouldn't you say? I think they're...
Are they here tonight?
Good one. Good. I think that, they're so, they're very behind the scenes. All water professionals are kind of behind the scenes, but the lab folks are really behind the scenes and just do such an important job. And at our fall conference, actually, in Dalton, just in November, your group was awarded the Drinking Water Laboratory QA/QC Award, which again is another one of those where you apply for the award, you supply all kinds of documentation, it's poured over by other lab managers from other systems all across Georgia, and then they come in and they take a look, and they do the same thing. They truly are looking for something to knock, knock a point off because of the competition. So to get an award like this is a really big accomplishment, and I want to congratulate you all on the Lab QA/QC Award. And that would be Kenya. And this is the plaque that was presented in the fall. So thank you so very much, all of you. Yes, it's really a great thing. We are very proud of you, and leaving you with this thought that when you win these awards, really truly, there are all kinds of other people across the state that are looking to you to learn. So don't be too surprised. I always tell people, if you want to know how to do your job better, go to the people who won the GAWP award this year and learn from them. So you'll probably get a call. Okay. Thank you for your leadership. Really great to have your support.
Well, I don't like to speak for council very often, but I think I feel pretty confident in saying thank you for the job y'all are doing every single day, and it's a great honor that y'all have achieved, and on behalf of everybody at Cartersville, thank you.
Thank you.
Who's at the lab now? Is anybody? Congratulations once again. Mr. Menino, you have the next item. We've got an appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The Ward 3 appointee to the Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. Alan McDaniel, is having to step down due to some health issues. With that, Councilman Roth has recommended Patrick Murphy to take or to fill the unexpired term of Mr. McDaniel. With that, we recommend approval of Mr. Roth's nomination.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Make a motion to approve the appointment.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Brock, you have the next item.
Yes, Mayor, this is a resolution authorizing a filing of a community development block grant through the Department of Community Affairs for the Tranquility House Domestic Violence Shelter. The grant is for $750,000 for the construction and renovation of a facility to provide non-shelter services to victims of domestic violence and the renovation of the existing shelter facility to increase capacity. I'm asking for your approval of this resolution and for the mayor to sign any and all documents related to the grant.
Any questions for Ms. Brock on this item? If there are none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Menino, we got you, Menino, I said.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. The City of Cartersville has an impact fee ordinance in place, even though the fees are set to zero. Earlier last month, we held a public hearing based on the requirements of that impact fee ordinance. It requires us to update certain elements of our comprehensive plan annually as opposed to every 5 years because we have that ordinance in place. With that, we did submit the material to the Department of Community Affairs and the Northwest Georgia Regional Development Commission, and they have approved it, sent it back to us, and with that, they're requiring us to physically adopt that, and we will do that by resolution if you also choose, and we will forward that resolution, and with that, we will maintain our status as certified local government.
Very good. Questions for Randy on this item? And if not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We got one more. Alcohol ordinance amendment.
Thank you again.
I think the Falcons were playing tonight.
This is actually a second reading. There have been no additions or changes since the first reading. This mimics state law, which allows customers to take partially or unfinished bottles of wine with them if it's properly packaged and they carry it in a proper format in their vehicle. With that, the Alcohol Control Board did recommend approval of this ordinance.
Okay. Thank you. Questions for Randy on this item? And if there are none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Hampton, you've got the next item. First reading of an ordinance.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The Electric Department is proposing a new rate rider to be included in city ordinances. This new rider is an incentive for our existing largest industrial customers on our XLP rate that continue to expand their facilities and create jobs on an ongoing, continual basis. This would allow the customer to pay a cost based on the wholesale market pricing with minimum margin and riders and taxes. This incentive would have a 5-year duration after which the customer would resort back to paying in accordance with their applicable standard rate. We're asking that you review and hopefully approve the proposed new rate rider.
Thank you. Questions for Derek on this item? Okay, this is the first reading, and we'll take this up for final consideration at our next council meeting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You have the next item as well. Please continue.
Yes, the next item is an interconnection agreement. This is our standard form for anyone that's adding generation at a location. In this case, it's referring to 18 Hepworth Lane. It's a solar installation on a new home construction. Basically, any of our customers that add generation, they would have to sign this. It's a standard form that's already been approved, and all the documents have been signed by the homeowner and are ready for your signature, Mayor, if so be it. And we're asking for council to approve you to sign those documents.
Okay, thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor, I
unanimously.
apologize. Derek, can I ask some questions about the item prior to that? So when, is this just go into effect immediately for their large power customers? Do they have to sign off? Do they?
No, it's something that if they want to benefit from the growth rider and they can prove, and what it's based on is I think it's a 5%, if I'm not mistaken, margin, and they have to increase their kilowatt hours, their consumption. There's a baseline that you set over a 12-month period, and looking at that 12-month average, that's your baseline, and you have to remain at 5% higher usage over that baseline and maintain that increase for 5 years, and then that increase would be under a market price scenario, which is a little cheaper. As you know, our rates are set, but the market's doing this day in and day out, so this would give them more kind of like a real-time. It's not quite down to the minute. I think it uses day-ahead pricing, if I'm not mistaken, but it gives them some cost savings that they can enjoy for 5 years. Just something to encourage these customers like an Aquafield or somebody that's constantly expanding and adding jobs and using more power.
Okay. And so how's that communicated to them?
Well, Aquafield already knows about it. So, yeah, but once it's on the books, we hadn't really, we don't have a lot of customers on it. I think we said earlier, four. So once it's on the books, we'll call them, or usually they'll call us if they're adding. They'll call us and say, "Hey, we're about to expand, and what can you do for me?" And that would be the time we'd normally bring something like that up. But a lot of our incentives are for new customers, and we've got existing customers. They need to get some benefit for constantly growing and creating jobs and things in the community and using more power. So,
now, has this been something you've been working on for a while, or is this?
Yes.
Okay.
2014.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you,
Mayor.
Derek. It's all right. Good questions. Mr. Hill, you've got the next couple, please, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My first one here is the Williams Transco pipeline, of which we have already provided a prepayment for these folks for something like $2.7 million. Well, they've come to us and they've given us an invoice for $131,000. We're hoping that this is going to carry us right on through here to finish up this tap and meter station for Transco. And we're asking that y'all approve that.
Okay. Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next one, please. Mark.
Second one is just a tax bill, and it's for Monroe County in Mississippi. This is for a spot where we actually store gas in a salt mine, and it's for $5,619.16.
I didn't know that. We store gas in a salt mine. All right.
Yeah, it's
Any
special.
Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Anderson, you have the next item, sir.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Council. This agenda item is from a previous discussion that we had at one of our December meetings about possibly using some of the jail bond funds at Hicks Park at Cartersville Little League fields. And I was charged by city manager to have the discussion, get some fence pricing, and then meet with Little League to get some priorities from them. After doing that, meeting with Little League president, it was determined that the Joe Frank Cartersville is their number one priority, and they had received pricing from Athletic Fields Incorporated in the amount of $16,000 or so, $16,000 something dollars. I'm recommending that the city of Cartersville pay Cartersville Little League $8,000, an amount not to exceed $8,280. This is for Joe Frank Cartersville renovation and drainage renovation. Pay them when that is completed by Athletic Fields. And this addresses their first priority. And we are still doing work at that location. We're doing some work on our buildings over there as our general maintenance. And so part of that, the backstop for the Joe Frank Cartersville, which is also a priority, that will be addressed during our work on this, our press box on that.
Great.
So.
Okay, thank you. All right, any discussion? If not, a motion is in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Greg. Mr. Reinhardt, you got the next item.
Honorable Mayor and Council, bids were posted on the city's website and the state procurement website for 12 vehicles. Total of 6 vendors responded. The garage reviewed the return bids and made recommendations for the purchases based on the best fit for the city. This does not mean that the low bidder was always the winner. It also took into consideration the specs meeting or the bids meeting our specs. In summary, 7 vehicles are recommended for purchase to be made from Crater Ford, totaling $237,385.30. 3 vehicles recommended for purchase from Peach State Ford for $91,407.13. 1 vehicle recommended for purchase from Hardy Ford for $22,401, and 1 vehicle is recommended for purchase from Gerald Jones Ford, totaling $37,719.60. Total purchase of all 12 vehicles is $388,913.03. And the following vehicles will be purchased using lease pool funds: Parks and Recreation, all 3 gas trucks, the solid waste vehicle, public works vehicle, and fiber vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Tom on this? If there are none, a motion is in order.
And the motion needs to include?
That they're funded through lease pool.
All of them?
Just Parks and Recreation, gas, solid waste, public works, and fiber.
That's my motion.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Did that work for you?
Good job, Tom.
Did that work for you, Mr. Archer?
Well, okay, so though the motion, I mean, I didn't really understand when he said that's my motion, but that's the way Jay said, so I'll take it.
I understood him to say that the motion was for the purchase of the 12 vehicles with the items that Mr. Reinhardt outlined that were being purchased through lease pool, and the other ones were just being outright
That's
purchased.
exactly what it should have said.
Yep.
Yep.
Let the minutes reflect that, right? That's what you said, wasn't it, Jason?
That's right.
So we're
Good job,
good.
Tom.
Councilman?
Thank you,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Good job.
Appreciate that. I am going to abstain from this next item, so Councilman, or Mayor Pro Tem, if you'll handle this item.
Dan, carry on.
Yes, sir, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. The first item is NCI conduit installation. As you recall, a few months ago, the council approved the conduit installation by NCI to get us up to Tellus Museum. Additional cost was realized for some rock they hit along the way, as well as some fiber connections. We had them splice and connect that. And they did some additional work for Tellus directly, which we're billing them $2,025 of the total $8,222. I recommend approval of this.
Any discussion? Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Continue on, Dan.
Yes, the next one is HP network switches. We are connecting the new Motorola radio system for countywide. One of the things that we need to purchase is network switches up there by the jail to allow some redundancy of that fiber that we connected. At a cost of $12,138.30. This will be reimbursed by Bartow County's SPLOST money.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve?
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item.
Next item is Nixon Power. We bought some, got approval of automatic transfer switches for the 2 new generators that we'll eventually purchase for the new gas facility as well as the fuel station. The transfer switches are being installed by the electricians out there at a cost of $9,630.
Okay. Questions for Dan on this item? If not, a motion's in order.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
The next item, Mayor, is Telenet Systems work on the gas department facility. Over the past 6+ months, we've bid several different phases of the work out there, and we're to that point on the construction site to have the cable tray installed throughout the building, installation of cable TV conduit, the camera system, the cameras we're going to be needing out there, access control, data and TV drops, and televisions. Total cost of this work is $126,553.71, and it is a budget item.
Thank you. Any questions for Dan? Not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Final item for you, Dan.
Yes, Mayor, the next one is a cancer policy renewal for the fire department personnel as required by state law. This is the second year of that program. The total cost is $14,688.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I usually ask at this time if anybody else wants to step forward and say anything. We know we have somebody tonight. It's our new state representative coming soon, Matthew Gamble. I know you're here tonight to say a few words. Please, even though I just stated your name and address for our clerk, please.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm Matthew Gamble, and I'm the incoming state representative-elect for House District 15. That includes the city of Cartersville, Emerson, and Alatoona. And I have good news tonight. I'm not here to ask for anything, so I want to get that cleared out of the way. But I just wanted an opportunity to come before you and thank you for your service and let you know I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I want to make sure that I'm accessible to each one of you. If there's things that I need to be paying attention to, I know I've already met with Mayor and Ms. Brock and Chief Carter probably about a month or two ago, and made aware of several things that are priorities for the city in terms of legislative issues. I know the library needs a new roof, and I made a few phone calls to check on that and other things too. But I'm just honored to be from this community, and I appreciate the leadership that we have here. We have a great community. There's great things going on here. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to be a part of that continued success. As I go to Atlanta and represent this area and realize that there are other representatives that will be at the Capitol that are in communities that don't necessarily have all that we can offer here in Cartersville and Bartow County. So I count my blessings, and I'm very grateful for that. My number is 770-655-0046. And so I want to, again, reaffirm that I want to be accessible. So please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm on, of course, all the social media and all that kind of stuff. But mainly just wanted to come tonight. We get sworn in on January the 14th. In Atlanta. We're getting ready for that. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know my office assignment or my committee assignments yet. We're in the process of getting that information. Hope to have that here within the next week and a half. But that's kind of where we're at, and just wanted to let you know that I'm looking forward to working with all of you and continuing our great leadership here in our community.
Well, thank you for being willing to step forward and serve in that capacity, and I think you share the same passion we all do up here and wanting to do what's best for our community, and we're glad to have you down there, and I look forward to working with you and making this place even better than it is.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business that needs to come before council this evening? If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion.
To do what?
So moved.